Okay, calculating equivalent interest rate. So equivalent interest rate is completely different than what we just did in 4.8. 4.8 was effective interest rate. Remember, effective interest rate is what we were actually paying um, in terms of the percentage per year. Okay. So whereas equivalent is we're actually just converting it. So if you look at this question, it says 10% compounded quarterly. And we want to know what that would be if it was compounded annually or semi-annually or monthly. So it's actually just changing what it would be, the rate for that compounding period, the new one given. Okay. Whereas the 4.8 is your real rate that you'd be paying. That's not what this is. Okay. So this is equivalent. Okay. So when you go to the formula package, you actually have to go to scroll down a bit further. So um, we were up here. Okay. We were using effective rate. Remember, we were using this one. We were just changing the future value to effective rate and we did subtract one. You're not using that one. Okay, so we're doing now equivalent. So keep scrolling down and it's this one. So make note of this because people mess this up. So equivalent interest rate. So right here, this is what you're doing. So you're solving for R2, the new rate with the new compounding period. So you can see these subscript twos. So the subscript two means the new one. The subscript ones is the original rate and the original compounding period. All right, so let's copy that out over here. So we've got R2 over M2, so those are the new ones, bracket 1 plus R1 over M1, so that's the original, all to the exponent of M1 over M2 minus 1. So we're solving for R2. Okay, I'm going to do number 3. So we're trying to find for a compounding period monthly. So M is 12. And so our original is right here. So 10% is zero point 0.1, compounded quarterly. So that's 4. So M1 original is compounded quarterly. We want to know what that would be monthly and then subtract 1. Okay, so leave the left side alone. And then I'm just going to do zero point 0.1 divided by 4 plus 1. So I've got 1.025 and then 4 divided by 12 is 0.33333 repeating. Okay, as long as you do 4 decimal places, you should be pretty good. So I'm going to work out the exponent part. So I've got 1.025 to the exponent of 0.33333 minus 1. So I've got 0.0082. Now I do a bit more here. So 6, 4. Okay, so you want 4 numbers, not including zeros. So I'm going to put that over 1 and I'm going to cross multiply. So I get 0. So for R2, I've got 0.09917 basically. So remember, you have to multiply by 100 because I'm looking for the actual percentage. So that would be 9.92%. Okay, and so see how I wrote CM because that's what we looked for. So right here it said CM. So we're saying if we're going to be compounded monthly instead, we would be getting charged 9.92% compounded monthly instead of 10% compounded quarterly. That's all we're doing. So that's what we're saying. So we're saying those are equivalent. Okay, whereas before it was effective rate. Okay, that was different. Okay, let's do one more. So let's look at number 5. So we're saying use the following benchmark, convert each to its equivalent annual rate. All right, so let me just erase this part. So remember, we're solving for R2 for all of these. Okay, so I'm going to write R2, the new one. And so what's the new one? I want it to be annually. So my M2 is 1. What's my original? Number 5 says right here. So 6%, 0.06, and originally it's compounded quarterly. So there's the setup. So since I have a 1 at the bottom on the right side, I can just pretty much ignore it and just write R2. So I'm just going to write R2. Okay, so I'm going to do the right side. So you got 0.06 divided by 4 plus 1. 4 over 1 up here is just 4. So I'm just going to do exponent of 4. And I'm just going to go minus 1. So I can just put it all in my calculator. So I've got 0.06136. Remember, multiply by 100 because I'm trying to find the percentage. So I multiply that by 100 and I got 6.14%. And that's compounded annually. So we're saying 6% quarterly is the same as being 6.14% annually.